Hello, this is Jim Matthews from GlassHoppa.com. We are pulling stringer in a torch flame today. Lots of things I want to do call for gentle, organic lines. Store-bought stringer is perfect. Perfectly straight, perfectly uniform. Too perfect, actually, for anything natural looking. You can bend it. That helps. A candle flame will work, but mine always come out kind of crippled looking. You can slump it with molds, which can actually work out pretty well if it meets your needs. But handmade stuff has more possibilities. One approach is drawing threads of molten glass from beneath an elevated bottomless kiln. The vitrograph they call it, and where it's truly a lot of fun, it calls for a much more elaborate setup than what we're going to deal with today. We're going to use a $10 bottle of MAP gas, M-A-P, that all hardware stores and home centers carry, and a hothead torch. The hothead is widely available from art glass suppliers, today $40 to $50. But it should never let you down, and it's designed specifically for working with glass. Forming glass in the flame of a torch is called lamp working or torch work, and the form of glass most commonly used are these: pencil-thick glass rods, or cane. Lamp workers like it because it rolls smoothly between the fingertips and it's perfectly consistent. I like using quarter-inch strips of sheet glass to pull stringer. Pound for pound, it is 1/3 the price of rod, and I can work out of my scrap box for next to nothing. Best way to cut quarter-inch strips: break out your half-inch strip first and then split it with a pair of running pliers. Follow the safety instructions on your torch and on your gas bottle, and never work without safety glasses. The hothead just screws onto the bottle, hand tightened. You'll need both hands to pull stringer, so you've got to come up with a way to secure your bottle so it can't tip over while it's lit. I use a common hose clamp and this L bracket, both easy finds at the hardware store. Just tighten that sucker down and simply clamp the bottle to my workbench securely. You'll need a safe surface to lay hot threads of glass on. Mom's welding gloves, wet newspaper works, a kiln shelf would be fine. Nippers, a lighter, long tweezers to hold the hot end, pliers to hold short strips of glass without burning your fingertips. And I keep a spray bottle of water handy, and of course, the requisite studio fire extinguisher. Once everything is safely in place and you're ready to go, open the valve until you hear the gas start to flow. Add fire and flame on. You already know cold glass has to be heated slowly or it's gonna break. Preheating only takes a minute or so with these thin strips, but it's important and it gets you in the spirit of working in the flame. Move the strip back and forth, higher and lower in the flame, flipping it repeatedly to evenly heat the first 3 inches or so. Then gradually begin to concentrate the heat at the end. We're slowly bringing the glass up to forming temperature. You'll get the feel of it. See the end starting to droop? I turn it over to control the droop, grab the end with the tweezers, and give it a tug. It begins to draw out, and I move the strip so the flame is just behind the point of forming. Then I try to keep it there, feeding the strip slowly into the flame from my left while drawing the thread away with my right hand. You want to learn to pull a stringer of reasonably consistent thickness. Not because that's any better than a wild, erratic stringer, but because that's how you'll develop your skill. Once you have good control, you can do whatever you want. It takes some practice, but the good news is this is fun, and it's cheap, and pretty much everything you make while you're learning will be useful in your glasswork sooner or later. Two variables to focus on. First, the temperature of the glass. The hotter it is, the more viscous or loose and gooey it's going to be. Too hot is hard to control. Your thread will droop or fall. Too cool is easier. The glass just stiffens up and won't want to draw. Control glass temperature by moving your strip higher in the flame or even out of the flame altogether to cool it. Lower in the flame down toward the torch head for more heat. Second variable, the speed of your draw. That's just how fast you pull. I'm looking for that sweet spot of temperature and pull rate that will allow me to make a long, consistent strand. Here I'm off to a good start. I've got the flame behind the point of forming, but something's telling me it's getting too hot because see, I'm lifting it up higher in the flame to cool it off, higher still. See it start to droop now. Can't cool it fast enough. I accidentally dropped it, but I was going to lose the thread anyway. Here, I just got too much heat at the point of forming and pulled too hard and just pulled it apart. Here's what can happen if you don't adequately preheat. See the crack on the right of the flame? Yep, lost it. If it starts to droop, I pull a little faster and lift the strip higher in the flame to cool it down. If I feel resistance as I pull, I move lower in the flame to heat it more. Find that sweet spot. Try to concentrate the heat just behind the point of forming and keep adjusting it as you draw the thread away. Put into words, all this sounds complicated, but it's not. After a little practice, it comes very naturally. And again, it's fun. It's satisfying. Even in the process of getting the hang of this, you'll build a robust collection of interesting elements that can be used in endless, imaginative ways. How many thousands of years did our rest and relaxation consist almost exclusively of staring into fire? That's what we tie into when we work in the flame, I think. That's our fascination with all things ablaze. That'll do it.